Hello there guys, welcome to my Karma Served channel. Here I tell real stories about people's lives, and how their actions and choices led to karma being served. Leaving you feeling all satisfied and good inside. Turn the volume up, grab a cup of coffee, have a sit, do your chores, drink some coffee, or sleep, as I narrate to you satisfying karma served stories. Today's story is a nuclear revenge story about how the nicest guy on the planet got his revenge, and it's titled, World's Nicest Guy Gets Revenge on Cheating Ex-Fiancé by Living His Best Life. This is about a buddy of mine, the most decent guy you could ever be lucky enough to call a friend, and how he got nuclear revenge on his cheating ex-fiancé, who dumped him for his best friend, all the while still being the most upstanding, greatest guy you can imagine. I've pieced this story together from things my friend and his wife have told me over the decade that we've been friends. There's not enough room to tell you how great this guy is, but believe me, he's been there for me like a rock when things were darkest. Cast of characters, let's call my friend Buddy, the ex-fiancée Lisa, and the hapless best friend Richard aka Dick. As you read this story, you have to always remember that Buddy is literally the greatest guy on the planet. Dick is, well, kind of a dick, annoying as hell, but my buddy says he always means well, and his heart is in the right place. Lisa is as big of a cheating, lying, self-centered narcissist as ever walked the face of the earth. Other people are Ray, another high school friend of Buddy and Dick, Jen, Buddy's wife, and Bob and Linda, Dick's dad and mom. All the names are fake. Now I'm going to write this as a movie script to make this easier. Scene 1. The background. Our story begins when Buddy, Dick, and Lisa are all in middle school together at a typical suburban high school outside of Southern City, football team, Friday night lights, etc. The three of them are all in marching band, inseparable friends. If you know band types, Buddy plays the French horn, Dick plays the tuba. I don't know what Lisa played. Probably the flute, because it's a cliché. Buddy and Lisa are boyfriend or girlfriend, and Dick is a happy third wheel. As they get older, Buddy and Lisa explore the physical side of their relationship, like normal high school kids do, while Dick is happy to be a player. He's decent looking, so he has no problem getting action, and also occasionally makes use of the professional women in their town. This will be important later. Buddy and Lisa, typical good students, go on to prestigious public university in Southern City. Dick drops out of high school, but the self-taught programmer winds up with a decent career in tech. Buddy graduates college early with honors, and proposes to Lisa at his graduation dinner, with a small diamond, because he's put himself through school, and that's all he can afford. She accepts. Buddy gets a job at fancy consulting firm in prestigious city. Lisa finishes college back home in Southern City. Come time for Lisa to graduate, Buddy helps his fiancée also get a job at fancy consulting firm. During her last spring break, she flies up to prestigious city to visit Buddy and interview for her job. Gets pregnant. Flies back home, tells Dick she's in trouble, he takes her to the ABBA appointment. Neither of them tell Buddy. Ever. I heard about this from Buddy's wife, who heard it from Dick one night when he was drunk. As far as I know, Buddy still doesn't know. Buddy, if you ever read this, sorry dude. I should have told you, but it wasn't my place. Scene 2. The betrayal. Lisa realizes, when she doesn't want to tell Buddy about her termination, that she can't marry him, but she's not brave enough to break it off. Instead, she ghosts him and he finds out through the HR department of fancy consulting firm, that she's turned down her job offer, and won't be moving to prestigious city after all. Buddy calls Dick and Dick says, dude, I'm sorry, but it's worse. Lisa and I are now a couple. You can punch me in the face next time we get together. Somehow, Buddy and Dick decide that Lisa isn't worth destroying their friendship, so they stay best friends, going hunting together on Dick's family place in the country, etc. Lisa is not happy about this, but Dick tells her that if she makes him choose, he'll choose Buddy. Scene 3. The follow-up. Buddy takes a year or so to get over it, and starts dating again. Pretty soon, he meets Jen and falls madly in love, crazy in love, and to make things better, Jen is just as crazy about him. In less than 6 months, they're engaged. Now, the thing you have to understand is that Lisa is drop-dead gorgeous. She's not tall enough to be a model, just average height, but she's got these giant blue eyes and super long eyelashes, long, shiny wavy dark brown hair, an exquisite face, and a terrific figure. She's prettier than a movie star, and being beautiful is really important to her. Jen is pretty enough, but regular, and she really and truly doesn't give a hoot. Dick travels to prestigious city without Lisa to meet Buddy's fiancé. He and Jen really get along. Jen gets along with everyone, and reports back to Lisa that Buddy is really happy, his fiancée Jen is awesome, etc. Lisa gets jealous and pouty when she hears about Jen's Ivy League education, but then Dick makes a point of telling her that Jen is nowhere near as hot as Lisa, so she'll stop sulking, at least until she gets an invitation to the wedding. Lisa pitches a fit, refuses to go, and tries to prevent Dick from going. But there's no way in hell he'll miss his best friend's wedding, so he goes stag. No big deal, it's a super small, low-key wedding. At the wedding, Dick reconnects with another high school friend of theirs, a guy named Ray, whose date to the wedding was actually someone else's wife. Ray has a thing for married women. This is important. Buddy and Jen go on living their best lives. At some point, Buddy gets an Ivy League MBA. His career takes off like gangbusters, they pop out a couple of kids. Jen quits her career to be a stay-at-home mum, they're rich as hell, still crazy in love, and blissfully happy. A couple of times a year, the guys get together and bring their wives along. At some point, Dick and Lisa get married. Buddy and Jen are not invited to the wedding, by the way. But the women get along okay. Jen gets along with everyone and Lisa is happy, because she's thinner and prettier than Jen, especially after both women have been through pregnancy and childbirth. The years tick on. Scene 4. Things get complicated. One day, this is around 2008, when Buddy, Jen, and Dick are all playing World of Warcraft together. Dick gets them on TeamSpeak and tells a hell of a story. Dick and Lisa have continued to hang out with Ray, their high school friend, who has a thing for married women. He's turned his eye on Lisa, who, even after 3 kids, is even hotter than she was in college. She's leaned heavily into the MILF role, meanwhile Dick has had enough of her nonsense. He's decided to divorce her 3 times, but each time, when he tells her, she cries and gets all pouty. They have one last time unprotected she gets pregnant, and bam, Dick and Lisa's 3 kids. Ray goes in hard with his practice seduction routine, and Lisa cries to Dick that she just can't stand it, and can she please just have with Ray. They do. Dick watches, goes in for sloppy seconds, and Lisa and Dick's marriage enters its suburban swinger era. Dick gives Jen and Buddy every gory detail over the course of a 2-hour conversation, while they are all killing wolves on low-level outs in Elwyn Forest, and Lisa is upstairs with a bottle of wine. It's obvious, during their next visit, that Dick wants to join in with Buddy and Jen, but they're not into that, and after an awkward 5 minutes, things go back to normal. The kids all play together, the women make small talk, and Buddy and Dick hang out together doing the normal things that guys do. Dick tells Buddy that the reason they're into swinging is that he gets off on watching Lisa being degraded, and Lisa gets off on making Dick feel like he isn't man enough for her. This marriage is not happy, but Dick wants to stay married, because Lisa is hot as hell, she's got a solid career, and he's a mid-level tech guy with a GED who works from home while he takes care of 3 kids. So he'll never be able to do better. Scene 5. Things get worse. Dick calls Buddy to chat. His marriage has gone to hell. Lisa has, in her words, met the love of her life. She's moved on from Ray and from the swinging scene, and is now having an affair with a guy from the accounting department at her job. She's staying out all night. She's ignoring the kids. Dick and Lisa take the kids on a swank vacation to try to focus on their family, and spends all her time crying because she misses her AP, and she doesn't want to be there. She doesn't want a divorce because she knows she'll lose the kids. She's drunk all the time, and she doesn't want to have to pay Dick child support. She wants him to let her live whatever life she wants while he does all the cooking and cleaning and childcare, and still brings in 50% of the household money. Lisa also will not shut up about how she could have married Buddy and been like Jen, a stay-at-home mum in a giant 5,000 square foot house with 6 bedrooms and a pool. I should mention that Buddy has also had a Neville Longbottom style glow-up, and gone from a nerdy band kid to a silver-haired super-confident high-level executive in a top-tier consulting firm, whereas Dick is still the guy working from his basement in sweatpants, covered in Dorito crumbs. He has been working on himself, but there's no way he can compete in Lisa's eyes, although both Buddy and Jen tell me about Dick's great qualities. Lisa is jealous, hopping mad, and she blames Dick. Dude. Trust me, I know, she is bad news. Leave her, Buddy tells his friend. It is the last conversation they will ever have. Scene 6. Holy hell, this is terrible. Buddy gets a call at work one afternoon. It's Bob, Dick's dad. Dick got drunk, woke up Lisa at 3 a.m., told her that he'd never loved her, that she'd never been enough of a woman for him, that he'd been visiting prostitutes during most of their marriage, and that he hoped she would go to hell. Then, he unalived himself. When the ambulance got there, she was hysterical, sitting on the curb outside the house, screaming over and over again, "Finish me too, it's all my fault, it's all my fault." Later, Bob would call Buddy to tell him that Lisa specifically says he is not welcome at the funeral. Bob and Linda, Dick's parents, step in to take care of the 3 little kids, who did nothing wrong and do not deserve this, while Lisa does nothing but work and drink. Scene 7. The coup de grace. About a year later, Buddy flies to Southern City to put flowers on Dick's grave and visit with Dick's parents. Bob and Linda. Bob is still in shock, but he and Linda have taken Lisa in as a daughter. Lisa's mom is dead, and she's NC with her dad and stepmom, to try and help her through this as much as they can. Why did Lisa say it was all her fault, and why did she ban you from the funeral? Bob asks Buddy. What don't I know? What's the rest of the story? Why did Dick do it? Scene 8. The moment of ultimate revenge. Buddy thinks for a minute, and decides that it will help Bob and Linda to understand the tragedy that happened to their son if they know the full story. So he tells them everything. Bob and Linda have continued to do everything for the 3 kids, and they continue to treat Lisa well, because that is best for the children, but the clock is ticking. Lisa's remarried now. When the kids are old enough, Bob and Linda will tell them the whole story. The youngest kid will be 18 soon. Buddy is still grieving over his friend. Summary: what did Buddy do to get revenge on his cheating ex-fiancé? 1. Stayed friends with the guy who stole her, letting her know how important she was to him versus the friendship. 2. Moved on and married someone smarter, nicer, and less pretty, letting her know how important her best quality, only good thing about her was to him. 3. Had a hell of a successful career, causing her much jealous anguish. 4. Had a massive glow-up between 30 and 40, causing her much jealous anguish. 5. Had a terrific marriage, causing her much jealous anguish, and also letting her know that the problem in their relationship was not him. 6. Respected her boundaries when she uninvited him to his best friend's funeral, causing best friend's dad to ask the fateful question that, in my opinion, ticks this over from karma to nuclear, proof that living well is indeed the best revenge. And that's the end of this first story. Let's read a few comments to see what people thought of it. Veermore says, if this is true, we'll all wait for the update when the youngest is 18. Aljamokia replies, if I was the grandparents, I'd wait until youngest was 25 at the earliest. And Naux says, inasmuch as this outcome sucks for a number of people, you are right, getting over a bad spot to live the best life is definitely the way to go. Good for your buddy. Another commenter, Goelamaz, says, if I understand correctly, Dick got with Lisa whilst Lisa and Buddy were still together. That's a dick move if I've ever seen one. And neither_computer 4662 replied to that. Oh yes, I just reread it. Lisa got an abortion and ghosted Buddy, then started going out with Dick. That actually confused me a bit. During her last spring break, she flies up to prestigious city to visit Buddy and interview for her job, gets pregnant, and then suddenly flies back home, tells Dick she's in trouble. He takes her to the abortion appointment. I'm assuming that Lisa was already hooking up with both of them despite no prior mention of it. But she couldn't handle being pregnant with Buddy's baby. Or was it Dick's baby, and breaking up with Buddy? Her solution is basically ghosting him and subsequently, officially, going out with her side man. Is that correct? Goelamaz replies, I took the post as saying Lisa got pregnant with Buddy's baby, and whilst she's freaking out about it, she confides in Dick and they connect. Then sometime later Buddy gets a call from Dick saying he's with Lisa now. And ThunderGod 250 replies to that by saying, that's what I'm actually confused about. Everything went down way too fast. From just a single unwanted pregnancy to a sudden cancellation of marriage, and the best friend and fiancé immediately hooked up out of nowhere. I even thought Dick was just saying that they are now a couple, just so Buddy won't bother Lisa for the time being. Suddenly, it's real, WTF. That's why I'm assuming that something already happened between them before this went down, since they hooked up so casually, and even went out of their character, like Dick being a womanizer, and suddenly he settled down with Lisa. I really enjoyed this story, guys. If you did too, please hit that like button, and leave a comment below about the story, or any feedback on the video. And now on to our second story of the day. It was posted on Pro-Revenge, but I think it deserves to be on NuclearRevenge, to be honest. It's a story about a friend doing what a good friend should when someone betrays us. Let's get into it, and it was posted by you. Don't Give Up the Shoe. Title says, Lying and Using People. I got you. This one needs background to fully understand why I went out of my way for this revenge. My best friend was married for 10 years. With his ex for a total of 13 years. He was absolutely head over heels in love with her, like I had never seen before. Which I never understood due to her alcohol abuse. She would take it out on him, and when he'd be venting about it, he'd always fall back on, it's not her, it's the illness, a very respectable and admirable stance on it. Last year she asked for a divorce, because after years of what I would call abuse, he had simply run out of gas. Her reasoning for asking for one: when she got fired for testing positive for God's green salad. He wasn't empathetic enough. He admits he wasn't, because it had come on the back of one of her drunken tirades, where she told him he was a piece of shit, who was always trying to control her. When all he ever tried to get her away from was booze for the way she treated him when she was drunk. It took him forever to move on from this, with the divorce following shortly after. And earlier this year, after thinking he was moving on, he calls me to come over and he's in a bad way. I arrive and he is absolutely fall down level of drunk. Going on that she didn't ask for a divorce for those reasons, that she had really been cheating with several other people, The next morning when he's more coherent, I ask him how he knew. He was cleaning out the spare room and selling or donating stuff he didn't need anymore, and when he went to clear an old tablet, she was still logged on and all of the evidence was there. He gets that out and says he's going back to bed and asks me to lock up when I leave. Before I left, I looked at the tablet. After seeing what I saw, I wanted to find a way to get even with the horrible and conniving woman, so I took pictures of it all and left. When I got home, I started looking up information about these people. 2 of them were just normal guys. Whether they knew she was married or not, I don't know. But the third? Well, the third comes up as a registered sex offender. Still on probation for being such a disgusting pile of shit, an address listed as 123 Lane. City, state, Chomo knew that she was married. I immediately knew what I was gonna do. Chomo didn't live at 123 Lane. Chomo was living with the conniving ex. She made regular posts about their time together. On top of that, she is an avid God's salad user, and has several firearms, because she enjoys sport shooting. So I go into the state's sex offender site, and make a report of Chomo not actually living where he's registered, and that Chomo is living in a home with what he has no right to, being a convicted felon and on parole. I include screenshots of the social media posts, and all to back it up. I was thinking little would happen, but an inconvenience to their lives. Boy, was I wrong. She broke her typical posts, with nothing serious trend on social media yesterday. With this gem, quote, "My year can't get any worse. Chomo lost his job and I am now facing eviction, because I can't afford my rent," end quote. So I go on the state court system site to see if it's related. And yes, it was. Chomo was rearrested. She clearly can't post bail, or Chomo would be out. The job she took after being fired definitely can't support her lifestyle. So he's probably going back to prison, or at least jail, and she's a breath away from being homeless. I don't know if I'd ever tell my best friend I was the one behind this. But he is definitely ecstatic to see a horrible woman and saw rat get what they deserve. Part of me wants to put up the sex offender registration link, and that it's sitting in jail, and say something to the effect of, "It's a little more than losing a job," but not wanting to make my best friend's life harder, I'll just let sleeping dog lie. Oh my goodness. I personally think this woman had what was coming for her. The man has suffered enough in her hands and deserves not spending any more time knowing anything about this woman except that she's now suffering too. And now on to the comments. Huggies says, if you tell him, he may wind up feeling sympathetic towards her and taking her back. Don't give him reason to feel guilt. To him, this was just karma catching up to her and confirmation that she deserves to stay in his past. LD Traves 1 says, don't tell. Close the chapter, having done the deed he would have loved to have done, but now also has plausible deniability over it all. Turtle Sandwich 0 says, trickshot revenge. I was confused how you were going to get revenge on the ex-wife, by going after the guy on parole. But then I saw it was a trick shot, and you actually got both. 3heathens_mom says, thanks for being there for your friend. He's probably already done this, but if you feel comfortable mentioning he needs to get a doctor's appointment ASAP, tell his doctor he found out his ex was unfaithful with multiple people and get tested. Better to know you have nothing than to find out you should have checked. My prayer is that your friend find a woman who is deserving of him. And that's it for the comments, guys. I'm glad OP got the same advice from everyone, cause I think it's what's best for his friend. That's the end of our stories today, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching or listening. Please feel free to like, comment, share and subscribe. Also, turn your notifications on for future videos. See you next time.